I'm not too sure if you know about particles and molecules and laser beams and other things. Like, if you could hear me clear and understand me, I want to make a breakthrough with discovery for gangstalkers and gangstalking victims, how the infrared and laser beams work. The same thing with your eyesight. Remember this. Same thing as your eyesight. Same thing as you breathing or just thinking or trying to come up with something, a solution, whatever it may be. There's always going to be a voice disturbing you or directing you. Sometimes you could beat the voice by rejecting it. Sometimes you could beat the voice by accepting it. Sometimes you could beat the voice by denying it. But every time there's a voice that irritates or pushes harm towards you through emotional state or well-being or whichever way it affects you, just know this system ain't gonna let you win. They're always gonna make you feel like there's something gonna happen next. They want this expectation for you. They're doing mood control. They're infrared laser beams on you. They know your body temperature in every position. They see the true emotions or true colors in you. The true colors in you. The full rainbow. They see the full rainbow on you because they could pick up on heat trace and heat signals on your brain, parts of your brain, your feet, parts of your feet, your body, your neural system. So, if it's picking up infrared on any of those body parts, they know exactly what color, what state, and what being it is. Like, if it's red, it may be warmer temperature, it may have less muscle activity, or it may have more muscle activity. By manipulating the infrared wavelengths, they could control this color in your thermal body. So they're controlling you thermally, controlling your nervous system. So it attacks your coldness. It makes you jitter. It makes activated nerves that ain't supposed to be activated on. They could turn it on and off with motors. This is a new thing for the gangstalking, another breakthrough. This part is the most important part, what I was trying to get to, about how laser beams and radio waves work. Look at this. I know this is my forehead and my face, but if you could see clearly, there's like, see how the camera works? It's all over my finger. Just stare at all these little dots. You see all these little dots? There's some gang stalking victims that are going to tell you that these little dots or whatever manipulate space-time and everything, because it's claiming that, oh, there's going to be seducing you so you could see images, but only images through EMF waves. The only way you could see these images is through EMF. Well, yes, you could possibly see some type of imaging, lighting, or some type of simulation, or some type of randomness that appears to be a face, because our human instinct has been proven time after time that we will see faces or things that we identify that isn't part of our nature. So getting that thing out of the side, the true thing is these radio waves are the wavelengths that are controlling us. This, you see all these? These are the wavelengths that are controlling us. And you don't want to see it this way. You don't want to believe it this way. You want to say that our eyes project images, or we consume the image. We see it in reversal state in our mind. The only way we see in a reversal state is We see the big picture all around us. We have this native instinct that we could see all around us. I'm holding a tablet. What I see in my eyes is my hand holding a device, and the device has a picture of my face with me speaking on it. Wow, the brain, look at this, my eyes light up. The brain indicates something else. The brain gets the 3D image, the actual 3D image. This sounds crazy or hypocritical, but our brain sees the 3D image in the real view, and our brain could only assimilate that it's in a flat verse. We see everything in 2D, even though you might see it in 3D because you know about physics. You know about physics because your teachers taught you. You know about logic because you were born with smart people around you to teach you these things, to understand this understanding of reality. And also speech. We also got to understand, if speech wasn't the first thing we had in our world, how did we communicate? By gibbering, hand signs, showing you things, figuring it out, making logic out of things. Even as I speak, it may not make sense, but people that are being attacked constantly, a person like me, will get off subject as soon as they press that button. Let them press that button, they're going to get off subject. As I speak to you, I hear the voices. They're poking me. The woodpecker's just fucking getting me. He's just hitting me. Every time I'm talking right there, I'm like, and another thing, boom, it hits me. Well, I also want to tell you that, boom, I have to get out, boom, it's going to attack me. But the real part is they're irritating you. They're violating your rights. They're monitoring you, controlling you. Whoever's doing this, it could be your parents. Maybe your parents decided to go with the microchip implant for your kid's safety. And now he's fucking a robot. Now he has no control whatsoever, and he falls victim to a gangstalking operation. Or you were born in a fucking shitty ass city. Maybe a town that wants to be known as the most dangerous city in America. How about that? The dangerous city in America, a town like that. Do you think those people deserve to be implanted, monitored, controlled, manipulated, talked to, voice to skull, put implants in their newborns? So every newborn that is born in a hospital that is mandated to install the implants to children, it's pretty fucked up. Think about it. Imagine you're being born and nothing include whatever, and then all of a sudden they put that in your head, and now all you know is that your mom's your mom, and you start figuring out things like, this is the new world order. They want you to disbelieve people. They want you to believe on false ideas and false beliefs. They want you to worship an idol. They want you to commit sin. And when committing sin is pretty much doing sin to yourself, you're only affecting you and your loved ones and those around. If you allow this to keep continuing, of course you're going to get results. Are those the results you prefer in life? Only person who has control over that is the people that are in control of that. And if they are controlled of manipulating minds, manipulating thoughts, making people turn stupid, they're the ones that are doing this. And you are giving yourself up every time you have a new thought, a new wavelength, and a new personal view. Change your personal view. You ever have that? You're focusing on a certain thing. Your brain, your eyes, it's all working together. You have that face expression, that tongue sticking out. You're drawing. You're getting that drawing good. And all of a sudden, you stop. You stare back. And you have to stare backer. You have to just step back for a bit. And when you step back, your brain just, it works so well that your brain just, it clicks. Your brain clicks to different parts of sections. Or maybe it wasn't even your brain. What if it's the radio wave length, like mercury boiling inside your blood? We have mercury in our blood system. So it may feel just like mercury. Just like that material that claims it's no good for human consumption. It could control and absorb, radiate heat. By radiating heat in certain parts of bodies, radiating heat in parts of body. Right now they're talking about Princess, they're talking about Sorry, and they're screaming out yay or some other shit. I don't know. These little wetbacks are doing things to our family. Like my dog, they made my dog almost broke its leg just because they're making it fragile. It's a newborn pup. Yeah, maybe may not have the best life as the newborn pup. May not been the strongest baby from the litter. Hey, all I know, it could have been the runt. But you know what? This was just too bad how they make nervous reactions and nervous responses your fate. They're making things that you can't control your fate. Who are we? Are we this one insect? Are we one insect controlling a body? Or are we a body controlling insects? We are an individual and a person, and we're basically a machine. For people to lie and say that we're a machine and carry on gang stalking like Eric Gonzalez. Now, now he has a baby because he really tried. I guess he really loves the Gabby. And you know what? I don't have respect for that man. He passed the point of understanding. He as a man couldn't show me understanding. And as me, as a man, I couldn't understand. I didn't like the way he just thinks that I'm irritating him, or he thinks that I'm being irritated. He thinks that my mood is more important than anything in life. He thinks that the body is a machine and it's a computer. He knows about gang stalking. He's a little rat. Put me on a hit list. There's fucking scrappas around the town doing hit lists, getting shot up. And he's just a little rat, punk. Could just fucking throw somebody under the bridge. Like, if I know the person's guilty, I'll say the person's guilty. But I'm not gonna be no nigger that's gonna be in the courtroom standing up on the fucking bench and screaming and pointing at a fucking 18-year-old and scream out guilty. I'm not that nigger. I'm not gonna be a nigger that stands up and points at an 18-year-old and scream out, you're guilty. You know why? That's fucking childish, you fucking nigger who did that shit to me when I went to court. I was at court in the jail because they fucking got me on a false thing. A fucking drone flew by, almost hit my fucking car, and I crashed, and all these other shit happened, and I was just sitting there thinking in my brain, listening to other people's fucking conversations, listening to the fucking judge. The judge is talking about this, that. She has no fucking clue what's going on. Even if she has some slight variations of what's going on. Everybody's a different individual, and their simulation of mood control is different. So everybody's mood automatically should be different. Now, what comes after a mood? Facial expressions, facial movement, and body language. What comes after body language, movement, and body? The thoughts, the inner thoughts that make up a person. How are you going to understand an individual if you don't clearly understand them? The best way to understand someone is to know what they're thinking. So if they know what you're thinking, they have easy way and access to manipulate you while things are happening. But at the same time, they could read your mind. They have ways now they're screaming out Michael. Like I said, there's these fucking rats, sewer gutter cats that are fucking crackheads, kid niggers that doesn't care about their children, right? There's these crackheads that are fucking have kids, and they don't even take care of their kids. They don't talk to their kids. They don't respect their. They don't even whatever. And if they do, they have family members like, oh, go to your tia. So everybody doesn't have a mom. They're like, oh no, I just go to my tia. Oh, my dad broke up. My dad can't be with my wife or his wife. My dad can't be with my mom because they fight. First of all, why the fuck he got married if he can't stay in a marriage? If you're just gonna be fighting like that, like childs, I can understand when things get overheated. I can understand when things get underheated. I can understand about miscommunication. But when you're being manipulated on a day-to-day basis and you sign a contract or an agreement of bond of marriage through sickness, bad of health, through good of health, through whatever it may be, it's a pretty bad way to say it's a soul commitment, because it ain't a soul commitment. It's a bond mission. It's a bond mission. You know, pretty much like it's a bondmanship, and you know what? You have to respect each other because you're not the only person in the world. You're not just in control of your relationship. You gotta have some type of understanding and agreement. Like, if you have a girlfriend, if you see your girlfriend just sitting there, dude, like, be a fucking man. If you see your girlfriend just sitting there saying nothing, be a fucking man and speak up to her and tell her what's on your mind, what you're thinking of, you know, because I'm not going to spoil it for you all playboys, but just by saying what's on your mind gets you vulnerable enough to understand, and maybe this person wants to talk to me. Maybe this person has a day of light to understand what I'm going through. So these girls may understand a little bit that you care for them, or still see that you care, or more importantly, it's a game. We have a cycle. We have a routine, being the playboy or not playboy, or just wanting the boyfriend. Okay, you're not the playboy now. You're the girlfriend. Being a girlfriend, just sitting there, what are you thinking? If I was the girlfriend, sitting there, depending on situation, we're in a car, we're listening to music. After, let's just say, an hour, 2 hours, no communication, I maybe just sit there and wonder, what is the driver, just saying on a car, what is the driver thinking of? Or, more importantly, what is he thinking about me? I wondered if he noticed me when I poked my nose, because I'm a girl and I love to poke my nose. You know, that's what girls do. We poke our nose. So I would say, I wonder if he doesn't even notice me, because, you know, I'm poking my nose, and, you know, she hasn't even saw me poke my nose. Like the guy's not like, ew, he poked her nose, that's disgusting. Like I understand it's kind of funny, but it's really childish. Children today with their Instagram is pretty fucked up. I saw lots of scandalous shit posted on internet, on Instagram. Luckily, I don't have a Facebook because they're more scandalous. Facebook has the most root of communication. Everybody jumps on that in Facebook. You know what I do? I just look at pictures on Instagram. I just go like, this one's cool, that one's cool. I'll give that one a like, that one a like. This one's cool. And you know what? I don't think that's nothing wrong. I like to look at pictures, and I like to post some pictures. I like to have memories saved up on a profile. If there was a free ad just to download and upload photos in a certain gallery, like an open web gallery but private, and just have a bank to save your photos, I would probably download that app as well, because I would not want to have millions of photos taking up precious memory space on a device, because today's technology requires external hardware to make it work or perform or even operate at certain times. Sometimes my phone gets a little thing that says like, hey, delete unnecessary data. So having an Instagram is like almost like a store bank. And as well as you meet friends, you meet people, you understand Instagram true meaning. It's really Instagram. Like when you need that gram of, weed, you go on Instagram. Unless, you're a coke dealer and then you go on Instagram for coke heads. Nah. But it's like that nowadays. And we already know it was. But like, the police don't do nothing about it. The kids are just falling for it. The kids are just posting photos. They're freaking 12 years old, 11 years old, 13-year-old, like under 13. Just saying. Little ass girls, they're playing hoochie already. They're putting the lipstick, they're putting their stat. And you know what? Not be fucked up, but these fucking jaggers, these chesters, these fucking jaggers, they fucking go for young girls. These motherfuckers work at the fucking field. They're about 30, 24. They're all above 24. They're about 24 or older, fucking working at the fields. And they're going out with little ass girls, and they're pimping them out. They tell them, oh, I'm gonna marry you one day. Here, échale un balazo. Or they hug them, they kiss them, and all that little jagger shit, that petty love. They just showing them petty love. And that's fucking stupid, because you're not really being with her. You're just fucking using her, right? Unless you actually end up being with that, and you just, accept it. But either way, that's a crime shame, because that little 12-year-old or 13-year-old goes to school every fucking day. And she sits with classmates her own age. And let's just say she lost her virginity already. She's already 12 or 11 years old, and she lost her virginity to someone much older than her. What are her classmates to think about her? Do you think her classmates should accept her and say, hey, even though she lost her virginity, she's still my friend? There's always going to be people like that. How about this one? Oh, she's a slut. She lost her virginity. Do you think they're going to know she lost her virginity to a man? Or do you think they're going to say she lost her virginity to her boyfriend or a boy? Do these perverts make our children sluts at a young age and control the men in society like us that are born first grade all the way to high school? We expect ourselves to have a girlfriend, right? We expect ourselves to have a job. We expect ourselves to start getting a payroll and like live a life. But they don't want us to do that, because they're taking people like me that want that feeling of living life. They're taking everything that I love in life and they're stripping it away from me. They fucking love to play people as fools. And when people is not a fool, how are you gonna fool them? You just can't. And it's just fucking fucked up seeing these drug addicts having babies. These babies come out drug addicts too. These babies end up becoming drug addicts, and some take the flyway. Some crackhead babies are born addicted to crack, and they fight it. They accept it. Hey, he's born addicted to crack, but he just doesn't do that shit because he knows better. There's some that instead of doing crack, they're like, oh, crack is whack. That's a bad drug. I'll never do that. I'll never be like my parents. And then they just smoke weed. Well, weed's a drug. But still, it's just fucking crazy that we accept that shit because we also don't accept it. We also don't accept the things. Going back to the infrared, there's this section where they did test, right? Where they shot particles or particle beam, and they put it in a Swiss board, a board that shoots the particle, and then it splits. So the particle splits. And this is what it's claimed. When it's splitted, it seems like within instance, the computer or actual monitoring system they use, whichever monitoring system they use, this is a good word to use. So when I talk to these people, I could definitely say monitoring system. The monitoring system they use to calculate everything about the infrawaves shooting, they notice when the eye of the beholder, see, I could be famous. Well, the eye of the beholder sees the beams shoot it, the laser beams, while it splits, knows it's being monitored. It knows when it's looked at. So all the beams come back into one unit and shoots one way. Only one way. So the particle beam shoots like if it's an arrow, or it shoots like there's only one direction it could only go. But it also is known as if the eye of the beholder or the monitoring system doesn't look, the beams work as if the beams shoot away. Why do the beams shoot away and doesn't work? Like, take your time, scientists, people, or gangstalkers, take your time to understand about those particle beams. How do the particle beams dissipate and then reconnect and work as a single unit when you're staring at it and when you're not staring on it? It claims this particle knows when it's being monitored. Having this type of technology, or this particle that knows when it's being monitored, could be easily manipulated as a God particle. A particle that manipulates God itself, or the ability to control. Think about, there's no such thing as a particle named after a creator that created everything in the world or the universe. What would you call this particle? Would you call this particle a God particle? Or would you call this particle brainwash radio waves? Radio waves to brainwash. You shoot this technology that does not want to operate when you're not looking, but once you look at it, boom, it knows when it's being looked. And it claims it's instantaneous, or somehow, whatever that physical term or speech is that explains that thing. We could both go on to the YouTube, or both go to the scientist lab and look at this particle, how it works. If you're a man of your word that truly wants to understand, do something about it. Try to understand If you can't try to understand, you're not living, because you need to understand. We overthink. Right now I'm being shot by laser beams right now. I'm being monitored. I'm hearing like a and then like a and like a wa la 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 la. Just kidding. Not the wa la 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 part, but it sounds like a like radio waves. And I'm fucking hating this shit because there's undercover policemen that kill people in my town. It's bothering me because there's undercover policemen. It bothers me that there's cops that will steal someone else's car or rob them from their vehicle, lock a person up, and use their own personal vehicle as their everyday commute. These bastards are not paying taxes. These people are not paying mortgage. They're getting free property, getting free land. They're robbing us from our natural resources, just like the white men did to the Mexicans. They're robbing us from our natural resources. Who are them are better than us. The Native Americans got robbed, raped, brutally murdered, beaten, tortured, just as bad as the slaves, or if not worse. This is all fact. This is true. And you know what? It's 100% accurate, and it's worse the way I explain it. There's a car passing by and it loves to make noise. This is fact the way I explain it. That's how the Native Americans felt. They felt like the Native Americans were being hurt. They felt like they were being all this shit happening to them. And who not to say, if the Native American culture was monitored, controlled, and being watched by the government. The government is watching the Native Americans. The Native Americans didn't have horses back then. So why do we tell ourselves horses are natural to America? That is a strong fact and statement, because lots of cowboy movies always show Native Americans and their little huts, their canoes, their teepees. So Native Americans never built log cabins because they didn't know about wood cutting, apparently, or too much about building structures with wood. They had a teepee. That's kind of fucking weird, don't you think? Maybe they're camping. You know, why would they always be camping on teepees? Because they're always being migrated